Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let's get started with our Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Let us recite our verses for memorization in the Bhakti Vaibhava module 3. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinishthaya Janmalabha Parapumsam Narayana Smriti Akama Sarva Kamo Va Mokshakama Udaradhi Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajeta Purusham Param Ahamevasame nanyad-yat-sad-asat-param paschadaham yadetaccha yo vashishyeta sosmyaham rityartham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tadvidyadatmano mayam yatha bhaso yatha tamah यथा महान्ति भूतानि भूतेषु चावशेषनु प्रविष्टान् अप्रविष्टानि तथा तेषु न तेषहम् एतावद् एव जिज्ञास्यं तत्त्वजिज्ञासुनात्मनः अन्वयव्यतिरेकाभ्यां यत् स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा अत्र सर्गो विसर्गश्च स्थानं पोषणमूतयः मन्वन्तरेषानुकथा निरोधो मुक्तिराश्रयः हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. My humble obeisances to all of you. We are continuing our study of Granthara Srīmad Bhāgavatam, and we are going to start from verse number 25 of the 5th chapter of the 2nd canto. This chapter is entitled The Cause of All Causes. In response to the question of Shripad Narad Muni, Lord Brahma is describing the process of material creation. We saw how Brahmaji is telling the Mahat Tattva being agitated by the energy of time and the 3 modes of material nature. All the creations, they begin. from that Mahatattva. So the description continues, text 25. Tamasadapi bhutader vikurvanad abhunnabha tasya matra guna shabdo lingam yadrishtirdrishyayoh. Translations and purports by our beloved founder Acharya Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Shri Srīmad Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. From the darkness of false ego, tamasad, from the darkness of false ego, the first of the 5 elements, namely the nabha, the sky or ether, akash, the sky is generated. How? From false ego. The sky is generated. Its subtle form is the quality of sound, shabda. Exactly as the seer is in relationship with the seen. There are 5 material elements: earth, water, fire, air, and sky. Each material element has a certain quality: shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, and gandha. So here it is said that from the false ego, the sky is generated. And what is the quality of sky? Sound. What is the relationship between sky and the sound? It is the subtle form is the quality of sound. Exactly as the seer is in relationship with the seen. So object is seen and there is a seer. So the sky is like the seer and the object that is seen is the quality of that object. That is sound in the case of the sky, ether. In case of air, what is the quality? Touch. When the temperature is hot in the air, hot air blows on us, we feel the heat. Cold air blows on us, we say chill factor. So through air, there is the quality of touch. Then we go to the fire. What is the quality of fire? Sight. We are able to see fire. We are not able to see the air, but we are able to see the fire. So sight is there in fire. Then we go even more gross, we go to water. What quality does water have? It has shabda, sparsha, and roop. But water also has rasa. It has rasa, it has taste. There is no taste in fire. There is no taste in air. And there is no taste in sky. But water has got rasa. In fact, medically, scientifically, if you study the physiology, on the tongue there are taste buds which help us perceive different tastes. And these taste buds are activated by water, by saliva. People who have xerostomia, a condition where there is dryness in the mouth, they cannot taste anything. So it's a medically, scientifically proven fact that for us to perceive taste in food, we need water. If something is completely dry, you cannot taste it. For us, for the taste buds to perceive taste, there has to be some water in the form of saliva. Okay, so that is water. It has a quality of taste. In addition to the other qualities, shabda, sparsha, and roop, there is rasa also. Then we come to the grossest of the 5 gross elements, and that is earth. Now, earth has all these qualities, shabda, sparsha, rupa, and rasa. But earth also has another quality, which others don't have. And what is that? Gandha. You see, water has taste, but water is odorless. Water is odorless, but earth has taste. All the fruits, vegetables, they are growing from earth, and they have different tastes. The fruits, roots, vegetables, grains, they have taste because they're coming from earth. So, and they also have fragrance. Water has taste, but water does not have fragrance. And earth has Shabda, Sparsha, Roop and Rasa also, but earth has fragrance, which other material elements do not have. Fragrance. All the flowers that grow, Kevda, Mogra, Gulab, all these flowers, they have fragrance, correct? So sandalwood tree is growing from earth and it has got beautiful fragrance. So all these fragrances are coming from earth. So Srila Prabhupada says, factually, as third or fourth sentence in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, factually, save and accept the Lord, no one can be called the enjoyer, but the living entity falsely desires to become the enjoyer. We want to become Bhokta. But who is the Bhokta according to Bhagavad Gita? Bhoktaram Yadnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Krishna is the enjoyer. Our problem in the material world is we want to become enjoyers. This is the origin of false ego. Very important Siddhanta Srila Prabhupada is saying. What is the origin of our false ego? Who can answer? Raise your hand, please. Important Siddhanta Srila Prabhupada said. Yes, Satyarupa Mataji. What is the origin of false ego?
We should become the enjoyer.
This tendency that Bhokta Aham, I am the Bhokta. That is the source of false ego. I am the enjoyer. No. Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. Our Samsiddhir Haritoshanam, not Atmatoshanam. Haritoshanam. When we want Atmatoshanam, false ego. We become the center. But what is the fact? The Siddhanta is Krishna is the center. Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. Perfection is to serve Hari, keep Hari in the center. This is the origin of false ego. What is the origin of false ego? When the living entity falsely desires to become the enjoyer. This is the origin of false ego. When the bewildered living entity desires this enjoyment to become the enjoyer, the shadow elements are generated by the will of the Lord, and the living entities are allowed to run after them as one runs after phantasmagoria. Phantasmagoria means something that is illusory, but to consider it to be real. So that is called phantasmagoria. So when we want to become the enjoyer, then what happens? By Krishna's arrangement, by Krishna's will, see it says, by the will of Lord Krishna, what happens? Shadow elements are generated. All these material elements are generated, which are like shadow. Why they are shadow? Because whole Mahat Tattva is a dark cloud. The real substance is spiritual. But when we want to become enjoyers and we want to remove Krishna from our life, then Maya Devi creates this false world with false things, and we simply run after them, thinking that they will make me happy. This particular enjoyment will make me happy. But the fact is, we have already experienced all different types of enjoyments. Everything we have experienced. But still that Trishna doesn't go. I was talking to one Mataji. She is now in her 70s. She has 2 children. Both children are highly educated. Both children are married. Both children have 2 children. So she has 4 grandchildren. She has 2 children. She has 2 son-in-law, daughter-in-law, whatever you want to call. Husband is still there. Very successful, nice retirement fund, bank balance, house, car, driver, everything is there. But still, she was crying that I want to go to America to meet my children, grandchildren. I am getting bored in India. So I was telling her that, Mataji, what is it that you have not experienced? Tell me. Have you experienced taking your grandchildren in your arms, in your lap and playing with them? She said, yes, 4 grandchildren I've experienced. I used to go 6 months in America and help my children when they were busy, stay with the grandchildren. Okay. Have you experienced getting your children married? Yes, both my children are married. You have seen their marriage? Yes. Okay. Have you experienced material success? Have you experienced this? Have you experienced that? Anything that is there in this world to experience, I asked her, and she said yes for everything. Yes, I have experienced this, I have experienced this, I have experienced this. I had to ask her, then Mataji, tell me, what is there in this world that you have not experienced in the material world? Whatever there is to be experienced, you have experienced, but still you are not satisfied. Still you cannot sit and do bhajan. Still you cannot chant extra rounds. You cannot hear, you cannot read extra. You want to run after your family, your sons, your daughters, your daughter-in-laws, son-in-laws. They don't want you. They don't care about you and your husband anymore. They're happy in their life in America. But you are getting restless. They are not even devotees. You are a devotee, initiated. Your children-in-law, grandchildren, none of them are devotees. But still you want to go? And you're thinking you're going to be happy there? You don't even get proper prasad there. They are meat eaters. Why you want to go? You are here, you have a nice circle of devotee friends. Do bhajan, be happy and accept the vanaprastha spirit. But this trishna doesn't go. We feel that we are the enjoyers, and if I get this, I will be happy. If 6 months I can go to America with my children, I will feel so happy. But so many times she has come to America. Every time, first 1 month is fine. Second month, third month, there are fights with the in-law, daughter-in-law or son-in-law. Then goes to next child house. Then 2-3 months there. Then comes back to India. This is a cycle. Then she'll come to India. 2-3 months she'll be okay. Now I'm happy, beta. I'm in India. I'm in India now. India is very nice. Bharat Mata ki jai. I am never going to come to America. After 4-5 months, again she starts missing. Whatever it is, blood is thicker than water. My children, my grandchildren. I have to go. Now they bought a new house. I want to see the new house. I said, what do you want to see? How many new houses you have seen in your life? Again, your attachment will increase. So we have to be very careful, my dear friends. As time goes by, we have to become more detached from the world and more attached to Krishna. That is the test. But here, Srila Prabhupada is saying that the bewildered living entity, he wants to enjoy. He has material desires. And therefore what happens? By the will of Lord, shadow elements are generated. And the living entities are allowed to run after them as a phantasmagoria. In the Puranas, there is a famous story of Kailash. We have all heard that story. Very simple story. Narad Muni and Kailash. But it is a story of our life. It's a very deep story. Attachment to one's house, attachment to one's children. What was the result? Kailash became a dog in his own house. And then what happened? He became a snake in his own house. It's a Puranic story. This is not some Mandhadat Kahani. This is not some made-up story. It's a Puranic story. It's mentioned in our Puranas. Finally, you know what Shripad Narad Muni did? Called the children and said, Dekho, there's a snake in your courtyard. Kill it. And start hitting with the sticks. And then the snake hissed in the snake language. Okay, I'm coming with you, Narad Muni. Give me Diksha. Take me with you. I don't want to get beaten up. And then Narad Muni told the children, stop. I will take the snake with me. So, and then he did bhajan. So we have to be careful. Instead of being kicked, we should voluntarily give up. Like Srila Prabhupada. He's teaching us as Acharya. Prabhupada had a perfect life. He was a brahmachari, he was a grihastha, he was a vanaprasth, and sannyasi. Everything ideal. First, the tan matra sound is generated, and then the sky. Sound is the subtle form of the sky. And the distinction is like between seer and the seen. The sound representation, further down, the sound representation of Lord Krishna is non-different from Lord himself, because the Lord and his representation in sound are absolute knowledge. Abhinnatva nama namino. There is actually no difference on the absolute plane. But on the material plane, there is a difference. Spiritual plane, there is no difference, because it is Adhyatmik Shabda. It is Shabda Brahma. What we speak, Hollywood, Bollywood songs, CNN, Fox News, NDTV, Times of India News, Sports Channel, Star TV, this TV, that TV. Is that Shabda Brahma? No. It is Gramya Katha, Gramya Varta. So that is different. But on the Chit platform, on the spiritual platform, the Shabda is Shabda Brahma. And because it is Shabda Brahma, it is absolute. It is non-different from Bhagwan. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed us that in the holy name of the Lord, as sound representation of the Lord, all the potencies of the Lord are invested. What verse is this? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, Shama Vallavi Mataji. Unmute.
Namnamkari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti Tatra
Very good.
Arpitani.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Namnamakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti Tatra Arpita. Krishna has invested, Arpita, all his Sarva Shakti, all his potencies. Where? In Nam, in Krishna Nam. Is there only one Krishna Nam or there are many? Namnamakari Bahuda. Many names. You can say Krishna, you can say Ram, you can say Hari, you can say Govinda, you can say Madhav. Many names are there. Thus, one can immediately enjoy the association of the Lord by the pure vibration of the sound representation of his holy name. And the concept of the Lord is immediately manifested before the pure devotee. A pure devotee, therefore, is not aloof from the Lord even for a moment. So how can we associate with Krishna all the times? Raise your hand if you know. How do we associate with Krishna all the time? Yes, Sharanagat Mataji.
By chanting all the time.
Yes. Very good. Because it is not different. Name is not different from Krishna. Abhinnatva nama namina. A pure devotee, therefore, is not aloof from the Lord even for a moment. Because a pure devotee practices Kirtaniya Sadahari. Now, please listen carefully. Srila Prabhupada is writing. The holy name of the Lord, as recommended in the Shastras, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, may therefore be constantly chanted by the devotee aspiring to be constantly in touch with the Supreme Lord. Is it clear? What did Srila Prabhupada say? Mukta Sangha Prabhu? What is Srila Prabhupada saying? What is Prabhupada saying? One may therefore be constantly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra by the devotee who is aspiring to be constantly in touch with the Supreme Lord. One who wants to constantly be in touch with Supreme Lord should all the time chant this Mahamantra mentioned in the Shastra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada is saying. One who is thus able to associate with Lord Krishna is sure to be delivered from the darkness of this created world. Created world means material world, which is a product of false ego. Tamasima Jyotir Gama. We should go away from darkness and we should proceed towards the light. Krishna is light. Krishna Surya Sama. Maya hai andhakar. Jahan Krishna taha nahi, Maya ra adhikar. So like that. Godhead is light. Essence is darkness. Every Back to Godhead magazine has that beautiful quote of Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that one who is thus able to associate with Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is sure to be delivered from this created dark world. Text 26 to 29. Nabasotha vakur vanat abhut sparsha guno nilaha paranvayat Shabdavamscha prana ojha saho balam vayorapi vikur vanat kalakarma swabhavatah udapadyata tejo vai rupavat sparsha shabdavat tejasastu vikur vanat asid ambhorasatmakam rupavat sparshavat Chambho Ghoshavacha Paranvata Paranvayat Visheshastu Vikurvanad Ambhaso Gandhavanabhut Paranvayad Rasa Sparsha Shabdarupa Gunanvitaha. Because the sky is transformed. How the sky was transformed? From false ego. What is false ego? I want to enjoy. I am the enjoyer. Because the sky is transformed, the air is, listen carefully, from false ego comes the sky. Because the sky is transformed from false ego, Because of the sky, the air is generated with the quality of touch. What is the quality of sky? Sound. Then air is generated. Air has quality of touch. And by previous succession, the air is also full of sound and the basic principles of duration of life, sense perception, mental power, and bodily strength. When the air is transformed in course of time and nature's course, fire is generated. From air, fire is generated, taking shape. And what is the quality of fire? It has got a shape. With the sense of touch and sound intact. There is sound in the fire, there is touch in the fire, and there is shape. Since fire is also transformed, there is manifestation of water. From fire comes water. Water is full of juice and taste. As previously, it also has form and touch and is full of sound also, water. And water being transformed from all variegatedness on earth appears odorous and as previously becomes qualitatively full of juice, touch, sound, and form. So earth has got odor also, fragrance also, and other qualities. So exactly what we discussed, that is there in these verses. Purport. The whole process of creation is an act of gradual evolution. Creation is evolving. It's an evolution from subtle to gross. From false ego, sky, air, from air, fire, from fire, water, and from water, earth. It's an evolution. Gradual evolution and development from one element to another, reaching up to the variegatedness of earth. Earth is the final gross element. And from earth, so many trees, plants, mountains, rivers, reptiles, birds, animals, and varieties of human beings come. We are all taking birth from earth only. The quality of sense perception is also evolutionary, namely generated from Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, generated from sound, touch, touch to form, taste to odor. They're generated with gradual development. From sky to air, air to fire, fire to water, water to earth. They are all mutually the cause and effect of one another. They're all connected progressively. But the original cause is Lord Krishna himself in his plenary portion as Mahavishnu, who is lying on the Karana Sagar, causal ocean of the Mahatattva. So here it is said, causal water of the Mahatattva. But one should not think that the Karan Sagar is a material water. No. The Karan Sagar is completely spiritual. Completely spiritual. It is Chinmay. As such, Lord Krishna is described in the Brahma Samhita as the cause of all causes. So all these material elements, progressively, they have a cause and effect. But ultimate cause is who? Krishna. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 10.8 as follows. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. The qualities of sense perception are fully represented in the earth. All the qualities, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, are there in earth. And they are manifested in other elements to a lesser and lesser extent. In the sky, there is only sound. Whereas in the air, there is sound and touch. In the fire, there is sound, touch, and shape. In water, there is sound, touch, shape, and taste. And in earth, there is all of the above. There is sound, there is touch, shape, there is taste, and there is fragrance, odor also. Therefore, on the earth, there is a full display of variegatedness of life, which is originally started with the basic principle of air. Now see, because the bodies are made up of air also, diseases of the body take place due to derangement of air within the earthly body of the living beings. This is Ayurveda. Kapha, Vata, Pitta. Mental diseases result from special derangement of air within the body. And as such, yogic exercise is especially beneficial to keep the air in order, so that diseases of the body become almost nil by such exercises. When they are properly done, the duration of life also increases. And one can have control over death also by such practices. This is there in the Ashtanga Yoga. A perfect yogi can have command over death and quit the body at the right moment. when he's competent to transfer himself to a suitable planet. This is also described in Bhagavatam as well as 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The Bhakti Yogi, however, surpasses all the yogis because by dint of his devotional service, he is promoted to the region beyond the material sky and is placed in one of the planets in the spiritual sky by the supreme will of the Lord, the controller of everything. So this is very important, last sentence. So in the path of Jnana Yoga or Dhyana Yoga, the sadhak is taking responsibility. That I will focus, I will control my pranavayu, I will control the chakras, and I will raise the Atma sequentially up to the Brahmarandhra, and then I will exit at a suitable time and I will go to the planet of my choice. So who is the doer? Who is taking responsibility? The sadhak himself. But in the path of bhakti, the beauty is that we surrender to Krishna. Bhakti begins with surrender. Bhakti begins with surrender. And because we surrender to Krishna now, who is taking responsibility? Krishna. So that is a difference. Other paths of transcendence, the practitioner is responsible. But on the path of bhakti, Krishna is responsible. It was Krishna's responsibility to save Gajendra. Not on his own bal. Apabal, tapabal or bahubal, chauto hai baldam. Sur Kishore Kripate Sababal, Hare ko Harinam. It was Krishna's responsibility to save Draupadi. It was Yudhishthir's responsibility to win the dice game because he did not call Krishna. See the difference? Duryodhan called Shakuni Mama. So Duryodhan won. Yudhishthir Maharaj went alone. He did not have Krishna by his side. He took upon himself. When we take upon ourselves, we are by ourselves. But when we are Sharanagat, Bhajahu Remana, Shrinanda Nandana, Abhaya Charanara, Vindare. When this is the attitude, then Krishna is taking responsibility. Hari Bol. So in the Bhakti Yoga process, Krishna, supreme will of the Lord. By Krishna's will, the sadhak goes to the Vaikuntha abode. Because Krishna is the controller of everything. Text 30. Vaikarikan mano jagne deva vaikarika dasha digvatarka prachetoshvi vahanindro pendramitra. From the mode of goodness, the mind is generated. I repeat, from Sattva-gun, from the mode of goodness, mind is generated and becomes manifest, as also the 10 demigods controlling the bodily movements. Such demigods are known as controllers of the directions. Dikpal, the controller of air, the sun god, the father of Daksha Prajapati, the Ashwini Kumara, the fire god, the king of heaven Indra, the worshipable deity in heaven, the chief of the Adityas, and Brahmaji, who is the Prajapati. They all come into existence. All these demigods, they are generated from which mode? Raise your hand. Sattvagun, Rajagun, or Tamagun? All these devatas. Nityalila Gaurangi Mataji?
Sattvagun, Prabhuji, mode of goodness.
Yes, Vaikarikat, from the Sattvagun. Very good. Therefore, we say that the demigods are in the mode of goodness. That they are the Suras. Purport. Vaikarika is the neutral stage of creation, and Tejas is the initiative of creation, while Tamas is the full display of material creation under the spell of the darkness of ignorance. Manufacture of the necessities of life in factories and workshops, excessively prominent in the age of Kali or in the age of machine, is the summit stage of the quality of darkness. All this excessive manufacturing industries, industrial pollution, capitalist society, this is the height of nonsense. Summit means the topmost height. It's the summit of the mode of ignorance. Just see so much plastic, everything, every magazine, anything you buy, there's plastic. There is such waste of everything, all the resources in this modern society. So this all is ignorance, because of ignorance. Mahatma Gandhi, it is said that when he used to receive a letter, he used to even keep the envelope and use it to take notes and write, not waste any paper. And now, we make aeroplanes with paper. Small children, and they are throwing nice printer paper. Children are doing all this. Trees have to be cut down to make paper. So you have to be careful of these natural resources. Otherwise, too much wastage, it is mode of ignorance. Because we are not mindful where it is coming from. Some trees have been cut. So if we are not mindful, we are in the mode of ignorance. Ignorance means to not know. Such manufacturing enterprises by human society are in the mode of darkness because factually there is no necessity for the commodities manufactured. Human society primarily requires food for sustenance, shelter for sleeping, and defense for protection, and commodities for the satisfaction of senses. What do you call it? Roti kapda makan. The senses are the practical signs of life, as will be explained in the next verse. Yes, the sign of life is that our senses are active. The senses are the practical signs of life. Human civilization is meant for purifying the senses, and objects of sense satisfaction should be supplied as much as absolutely required, but not for aggravating artificial sensory needs. This is something we have to read, contemplate, understand, and try as much as possible to implement in our life. This is so important. Srila Prabhupada is saying that human civilization is meant for purifying the senses. Now tell me, whenever we look at someone, we feel attracted to some opposite sex or something, our eyes immediately become polluted. Moment we hear some Gramya Katha, something that is not connected to Krishna, some gossip, some useless sports news, political news, whatever you want to call it, or some entertainment, movie, TV serial, moment we hear, our ears, Karnendriya, have become polluted. We eat anything that is not Krishna Prasad, our tongue becomes polluted, mouth becomes contaminated. We smell anything that has not been offered to Krishna, any fragrance, any flower that has not been offered, any perfume, attar that has not been offered to Krishna, our Ghanendriya, sense of smell, becomes polluted. We touch anything or anybody for sense gratification, our sense of touch becomes contaminated. We are supposed to touch devotees, embrace them, serve them, supposed to touch Krishna. But if we touch anyone for sense gratification, our sense of touch becomes contaminated. So our senses are polluted in this world. Everybody agrees? Is there anybody who is very pure senses? Uncontaminated senses? No. Our senses are polluted. But Prabhupada is saying the purpose of human life is to purify the senses. How to do that? Please raise your hand and one by one tell me how each sense can be purified. Think of Ambarish Maharaj. Rishi Prabhu, start. Tell me any one sense which can be purified.
Hare Krishna, Pranams. So in the case of Ambarish Maharaj, he used his working senses, that he likes to go to the temple. And
okay, one more you tell. Okay, legs to go to the temple. Aradhya Madhavi Mataji.
Eyes for seeing Krishna.
Very good. Nityalila Gaurangi Mataji.
Nose for smelling. I don't remember. Either flowers or tulsi. Yeah, one of these.
Very nice. Meenakshi Vrajagopi Mataji. I cannot see Mataji. Okay, Shanta Radhika Mataji. What about Karnendriya? How can we purify our Karnendriya right now?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, by hearing Krishna Katha and by chanting, hearing Hare
By
Krishna
hearing
Mahamantra.
Krishna Naam and Krishna Katha. Hearing Krishna Naam, Krishna Katha. Very good. Mukta Sangha Prabhu, how about our
using hands to clean the temple and
Okay, very good. And Satyarupa Mataji, Janani Mataji? Sense of touch?
Hare Krishna. By embracing the devotees.
Very good. So in this way, we can purify. Tat paratvena nirmalam. By Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam, by serving Rishikesh with our Rishik, our senses, we can purify our senses by employing the senses in Krishna Seva. Very good. So, as such, increasing the artificial needs as the standard of material civilization or advancing the economic development of human society is a sort of engagement in darkness without knowledge. Tamogun. By such engagement, human energy is spoiled. Srila Rupa Goswami says there are 6 things which are detrimental to bhakti. What are they? Manju Bhashini Malini Mataji, what are the 6 things according to Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrit, that are harmful for our spiritual? Very good. Atyahara prayasascha. What does prayas mean? What Prabhupada is saying. Too much spending energy for mundane achievements. Correct? Prayas. Very good. Prabhupada is saying that too much prayas we should not do. Otherwise, what it is called? Ugra karma. What it is called? Ugra karma. If you are working 16 hours, 17 hours, not necessary. Not required. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said 8 hours. You can write down. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said 8 hours we should work. 8 hours we should do bhajan. And 8 hours for our body. 24 hours in a day. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said 8 hours bhajan. Who is doing 8 hours bhajan every day? 8 hours work and 8 hours for bodily maintenance. 5-6 hours you sleep, eating, bathing, wearing clothes, time for all that, cooking. So 8 hours for the body, 8 hours for the society, and 8 hours for bhajan. Now bhajan has to be done with family. So that it's not that we tell family, oh, 8 hours bhajan time, don't come to me, don't talk to me. No. Family that prays together stays together. So we do deity worship together, we do kirtan together, we sit together and chant japa, we hear Hari Katha together, we go to temple together, we attend Bhakti Virsha program together as a family. So Krishna conscious bhajan becomes family time. So families together. Then eating also, we are having prasad together as a family. So it's not, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is not saying that you become a recluse. 8 hours work in the office, 8 hours close your room and do bhajan, and 8 hours you sleep. So what is happening to the family? Not like that. 8 hour bhajan with the family. It is Sankirtan with the family. Shantara Adhika Mataji, आप आपके Zoom को शांति पे रखो, mute पे रखो. So like that. So it's very important. We have to purify our senses through Krishna consciousness. And we should not do Ugra karma. Otherwise, Prabhupada is saying human energy is spoiled because energy is limited. Na? We don't have unlimited energy. Energy limited. So we have to conserve it. If we spend it, if suppose abhi salary aati hai, we get salary. It's a limited salary. So what do? Every family has a budget. Correct? Is there anybody here who doesn't have any budget? No, we all have a budget. Why? Because the money is limited. So this much money will go for grocery, this much will go to pay the mortgage, this much for filling petrol in the car, this much for donation, this much for paying the electricity bill, internet bill, all those things, correct? And some for unexpected expenses like laptop kharab ho gaya, naya laptop lena hai, phone pani mein gir gaya, jute phad gaye. So we keep some budget for that. And some we save for our old age. So every family works on a budget. Now our human energy is limited. We don't have unlimited energy. So if we spend too much energy on earning money, too much energy on doing Ugra Karma, too much energy on fulfilling material desires, prayas, laulyam, then what will happen? We will have no energy for bhajan. What we will give Krishna? When it is time to give Krishna something, Krishna, kuch time nahi hai. Abhi kal, I will chant my rounds tomorrow. I will chant 32 tomorrow. Today I am too tired, Krishna. Oh, Krishna will understand. So one One devotee was telling me, he is growing mustache. So I told him, listen, Srila Prabhupada has said that we should not keep beard and mustache. Prabhupada said he didn't want a society of hippies. He wanted everybody to be clean shaven. So don't grow mustache. So he said, अरे प्रभुपाद का फोटो देखा नहीं क्या आपने? प्रभुपाद का फोटो देखा नहीं? कैसी बड़ी बड़ी मूंछ थी प्रभुपाद की. मैंने कहा प्रभुपाद लीलामृत में वही एक चीज पकड़ी आपने. प्रभुपाद की कैसी मूंछ थी. I said, but have you seen initiation photo? When Prabhupada got initiated, he was completely clean shaven. So anyway, so I was also doing that one time. I used to not do puja in the morning. I used to just chant my rounds and go to the hospital and do puja in the evening. So my mother-in-law, Shvetanga Mataji, she told me, you should worship Shaligram Shilas in the morning. I told her, even Prabhupada's father used to worship at night only. Prabhupada says in Prabhupada Lilamrit that I used to be sleeping at night. My father would come from the shop and ting, ding, 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 ding. I used to hear the bell and wake up at night and see कि रात को 9:30 baje my father is doing puja to Radha Govinda. I told like that. So my mother-in-law said, fool, you didn't treat Prabhupada Lilamrit properly. In the morning before going also he used to do puja. And then after coming in the evening also he used to do puja. You are only taking half the teachings. He used to do in the morning also before going to the shop. So like that. So we have to be careful. We should not take what is convenient for us. We should understand the full Siddhanta. So by such engagement, human energy is spoiled. If we do too much engagement in earning money and material desires fulfillment, human energy is spoiled. Then we will not have energy for bhajan. Because human energy is primarily meant for purifying the senses in order to engage them in satisfying the senses of the Supreme Lord. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Now listen, the Supreme Lord being the supreme possessor of spiritual senses, he is the master of senses. He is Rishikesh. Rishik means senses. Look what Prabhupada is saying. Rishik means senses and Isha means master. So Rishikesh means Krishna, who is the master of senses. Now look, Lord Krishna is not the servant of the senses. Or in other words, he is not directed by the dictation of the senses. But the conditioned souls or the individual living entities are servants of the senses. They are conducted by the direction and dictation of the senses. And therefore, material civilization is a kind of engagement in sense gratification only. So who are we? Godas. And who is Krishna? Rishikesh. He is the Lord of the senses. And we are controlled by the senses. So who are we? Who are we? Shama Kishori Mataji. Krishna is the master of senses. And we are Godas. So who are we? Are? Who are we?
We are Krishna's servants because he is the master of the senses and we are servants of the senses.
So we are?
Servants of Krishna.
Kaise?
So he is the master of the senses and we are following the senses. So indirectly.
So we are Dasanudas, na?
Dasanudas.
Not Das. We are Dasanudas, servant of the servant. Krishna is master of senses and we are servant of the senses. So we are Dasanudas.
Very well.
But what Dasanudas we have to become? No, we have to become the servant of Krishna's servants. जो हरि भक्त है, उनका दास बनना है. अहम हरे तव पादैक मूल दासानुदासो भवितात्म भूले. So like that. So the standard of human civilization should be to cure the disease of sense gratification. What is the standard of human civilization? Raise your hand. Such a beautiful sentence Prabhupada has written here. The standard of human civilization should be to cure the disease of sense gratification. Anybody has taught this in any university till today? I'm reading it again. Listen carefully. The standard of human civilization should be to cure the disease of sense gratification. Every university, every college, everywhere we are being taught how to gratify the senses. Think about it. Every job, if you see, look at the contract, okay, your salary will be this much. You'll get so much paid time off. You'll get short-term disability, long-term disability, insurance, this, that, 5, 6 public holidays off. And what we feel, yes, nice job. Less work, more money, more enjoyment. Everything in this world is designed in a way to promote sense gratification, to glorify sense gratification. Prabhupada is saying the whole standard of human civilization should be to cure the disease of sense gratification. And one can do this simply by becoming an agent for satisfying the spiritual senses of the Lord. Rishikena Rishikesh Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. That is the only way. Unless you serve Krishna, it is not possible. Yes, Nitya Lila Gaurangi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, current scenario we see around us is always, everything as, remote and AC and heating and all the facilities are always there. So, I mean, at least when I look at myself, we cannot even live without such facilities. So how to train, ourselves? It is out of question when I look at myself to, austerity and all is out of question because everything is automated for us. So, and we are used to it, so.
I'll tell you about one god brother of yours. He's a disciple of Param Pujya Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. He's from South India, but he came to America just like so many people come. They come on a F1 student visa, then they go to that OPT or OTP, whatever it is called, and then H1B visa. And, they take up jobs as engineers. So he went through all that. And then when he had a job and the time came to get married, he got very much inspired by Shripad Aindra Prabhu, the Sankirtan, 24-hour Sankirtan. So he left America and went. Out of respect, I will not name him because I don't want to draw attention towards him. He's Bhajananandi. He's doing his bhajan very nicely. So he had all the comforts and luxuries of America, but he gave them up and went with a one-way ticket to Vrindavan to serve in the 24-hour Sankirtan movement of Sripad Aindra Prabhu. And his inspiration was that when Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj had the stroke in the year 2008, Sripad Aindra Prabhu used to sit alone and do the night shift, Kirtan, for the swift recovery of Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. Every night, Aindra Prabhu used to offer special prayers, do Sankirtan at night, praying. So he was very much touched by this effort of, and on YouTube, if you see, there is also one very nice talk given by Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, thanking Sripad Aindra Prabhu for his prayers. Very emotional talk is there on YouTube. So Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj was saying that when I was having my stroke, you prayed for me and you saved my life. But you went away so quickly, you did not even give me a chance to pray for you. So very emotionally, Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj was remembering, and this devotee was very inspired. He went, said, I will serve Sripad Aindra Prabhu. And now he's there in the 24-hour Kirtan Mandali. He is the main force behind that Mandali. And let me tell you his Dinacharya. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
A young boy means in his 30s. So he wakes up at midnight and takes a shower and he sits down to chant his japa. This is today. He's doing it since 2018. It's been 5 years. And this is not I'm not telling you the story of some Goswami who lived 400, 500 years ago. Today, if you go to Vrindavan, you can see him. Wakes up at midnight, takes a shower and sits in his brahmacharya ashram in his room and on the asana, and he sits and he chants. He chants continuously till I think 5:30. And so he does more than 1 lakh, more than 64 rounds in one go in the morning. Please, everybody listen carefully. These are the devotees that we have to keep in our heart and follow in their footsteps and feel inspired by. These devotees are the ornaments of ISKCON. So 5:30 he goes to dress Radha Shyam Sundar on the altar. And 5:30 to 7:30 he is dressing Radha Shyam Sundar. And of course he does his Gayatri also in between. And while dressing, he hears Hari Katha, Srila Prabhupada's classes, our Guru Varga classes. 7:30 puja is done. Then he sits to chant again and chants till 11 o'clock. And in between he hears the Bhagavatam class, or he goes to his room and hears a Bhagavatam class, depending on how he's feeling. But he keeps chanting till 11 o'clock. Then 11 o'clock, he takes his first meal of the day. We call it breakfast or call it lunch, whatever you want to call it. At between 11 and 11:30, he takes prasad. And in that prasad, no sweets. Simple. Roti, sabji, dal, chawal. No sweets. And then after that, he comes for the arti, the noon arti. He attends that arti and then does any seva. If anybody needs anything, there is seva, he does any seva. And then he sits in the 24-hour kirtan for a few hours until it is afternoon time. Then in the afternoon, for around an hour, he takes rest in his room. Then again he comes and he chants for some time, an hour, hour and a half. Then 5:30 he again comes down and then he leads the kirtan. 5:30, 6:30 he leads the kirtan. And he does kirtan till 8:30 at night. Sankirtan, Nam Sankirtan. And in the morning, after the dressing Radha Shyam Sundar, he chants for some time and then he goes. And for almost 3-4 hours, he worships Srila Ādi Gadādhara Prabhu's Shaligram Shilas. And while worshipping Shaligram Shilas, he hears audiobooks, Chaitanya Charitamrita audiobook. So somebody is reading Prabhupada's books and he hears, because he doesn't have time to sit and read. So he's doing seva 3-4 hours and he's reading Bhagavatam recitation, Chaitanya Charitamrita recitation, Bhagavad Gita. It's all there on YouTube. It's all there on ISKCON Desire also. Hearing Chaitanya Bhagavat being recited. So that's like his reading time, but he's hearing it because there's no time to read. So while doing puja seva also, he's reading and hearing Prabhupada's books. He said, that's how I finished Bhagavatam. That's how I finished Chaitanya Charitamrita many times. Because 3-4 hours every day I'm hearing the reading of the original verse in Sanskrit or Bengali, translation, purport, like that. Full, he has got audiobooks. He listens to that. Then 8:30 he does till 8:30. He does his kirtan. Then he comes to his room and at 8:30 he checks the WhatsApp messages or emails that devotees might have sent. First time in the day, he has contact with social media. And in 15-20 minutes, he finishes, responds, phatapat, whatever, and all related to service. Some brahmachari may have some questions, some devotee may have some about seva, or he has to delegate something. He will do that in that half an hour. Then 9 o'clock, he will again chant a few rounds and take rest for 3 hours. So 3 hours rest at 9, between 9 and 12. And in the afternoon, another 1 hour, 1.5 hour of rest. So 4.5 hours, 5 hours of maximum rest in a day. More than 2 lakh japa, more than 128 rounds. And he says because Srila Ādi Gadādhara Prabhu would chant 2 lakh. So he's trying to keep that standard. So it does more than 128 rounds every day. And every Ekadashi he does Jagaran. Every Ekadashi he does Jagaran. And this is the life. Day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, how to develop this taste to do
I've
so
not developed myself, so I cannot say. But at
not
least
this much, but at least some taste I don't have at all. I mean, I feel recently I'm completely, just finishing basic and read through it many times. So.
Bhakta Sanjayate Bhakti. It is said that by associating with the genuine bhaktas, then bhakti arises in the heart of a sadhak. So morning, one can join the japa call. Every day we have the Zoom call. We try to do 4:30 to 6:30, 2 hours of 16 rounds. And then we read little Chaitanya Charitamrita we are reading now. So like that, if you feel inspired, you can join. If you do video on, then everybody's there. We are together, virtually together. And at least for me, I have seen it inspires to sit in one place and chant 2 hours, 4:30 to 6:30, the standard that Srila Prabhupada gave us, starting our day at 4:30. So that way you can chant, and then at least the morning chanting will be good. And Srila Prabhupada said that if we do our chanting nicely in the morning, 16 rounds minimum, then everything else will follow. We will get taste in bhakti, we will get taste in deity worship. Chanting is the foundation. If we are chanting our 16 rounds attentively, everything will happen. We will get sadhu sangha, our ability to hear Hari Katha and assimilate it will also improve. Otherwise, we keep hearing. The Hari Katha is going on continuously also, but nothing is going inside. Not much is going inside the heart. But when we chant nicely, the heart becomes fertile. We may hear Hari Katha for 5 minutes, but we'll catch the essence and remember it. That happens when the chanting is good. So associating with devotees and chanting, I would say only one thing. Chanting all 16 rounds before 7 a.m. every single day attentively. If this one sutra we can follow, chanting minimum 16 rounds attentively in one position every day, 7 days a week, not missing a single day, then that will lead to tremendous spiritual advancement. Tremendous spiritual advancement. More advancement than we can even imagine. It will happen if one just follows this one principle. So that would be my response, Mataji. Hare Krishna. But we should hear about these great souls, like the one I told you. Out of respect for him, I will not name him, but because I don't want to publicly glorify somebody like this. It's embarrassing for them. But such great souls are there. And just imagine this life, Mataji, what we just described. 2 lakh japa, almost 6 hours of kirtan every day, 4 or 5 hours of deity worship. And while doing deity worship, you're hearing all these scriptures, eating only 1 meal in a day. That also Radha Shyam Sundar's Mahaprasad, living in Vrindavan Dham, first and second initiation from Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, completely dedicated to the 24-hour Kirtan Mandali in Vrindavan, which was so dear to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Padayendra Prabhu. Such a pure life. Now tell me, what is not possible for such a devotee? It's so simple, so dedicated. What is not possible?
They've achieved perfection, right, Prabhuji? They've achieved what is to be achieved in the life.
So such devotees we should hear about. The reason I am telling about this devotee is because such devotees we should hear about, we should glorify, we should think about them, and we should think that someday I will also follow in their footsteps, at least little bit, 1% of what they are doing. I also want to do. By doing this, our heart becomes nirmal, heart becomes pure, just by hearing about sincere devotees. Okay?
Thank you.
शांता राधिका माता जी, आप कुछ कहना चाहते हो?
यस प्रभु जी, हम जैसे वृंदावन जाते हैं तो प्रभु जी हमें तो पता ही नहीं होता. अब आपने इतनी ग्लोरीज बताई, तो हाउ वी कैन रिकॉग्नाइज. हम तो जाते हैं, दर्शन करते हैं और जपा कर लेते हैं प्रभुपाद हाउस में, तो मतलब जैसे एक्चुअली तो अब पता चल रहा है कि मंदिर जाएं तो हमें कैसे मतलब वहाँ भक्तों का संग लेना चाहिए. तो हाउ कैन वी रिकॉग्नाइज देम प्रभु जी? अब
ये तो बेचारे ब्रह्मचारी है, वो तो आप कैसे मिलोगे उनको?
नहीं, बाय सीइंग हिम ओनली वी कैन प्रूव.
तो ठीक है, आप मुझे मैसेज कीजिए, मैं आपको नाम भेजता हूँ उनका. तो आप जब जाओगे तो फिर आप दर्शन लीजिए उनका.
ओके, थैंक यू प्रभु.
हरे कृष्णा. यस, अजिंक्य प्रभु.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the wonderful class and the story at the end. Truly, I had one question that was going on in my mind. So by Krishna's mercy, like these days, I am giving like I have been given some opportunity or service to preach or speak about Bhagavad Gita or Krishna Lila. So um, I always feel that whatever I am speaking, I am not able to myself sometimes follow in my day-to-day life, because what I'm speaking is very high level, but basically I'm not able to practice what I'm preaching every single time. So does that mean that I should not say things that I'm not able to? Because for example, tolerance or humility, like if some verse from Bhagavad Gita is talking about tolerance, then I'm just repeating what is given in Prabhupada's purport or what I've heard in classes. So I'm just repeating that. But when there are reversals in life and when times are not good, I'm not able to practice the same thing in my life, like for example tolerance or humility. So in that case, like should we not preach, or what should be the mood?
One should do what one's guru has instructed. If guru says that you tell a lie to your own guru, that your material guru, one who taught you martial vidya, you tell that yes, your son Ashwathama is dead, then speaking that is dharma. You want to be non-violent and just go away and renounce everything. But if Guru and Krishna, because Arjun says, na, Shishyaste ham. So Arjun is the Shishya and Krishna is the Guru. Vasudeva Jagat Guru. So if Guru says you fight, just fight. Become my instrument and fight. Nimitta matra bhava savyasachin. Then to fight against one's grandfather, Guru, cousins is dharma. So we should do what our Guru Maharaj has instructed. If Guru Maharaj said you speak Hari Katha, then you speak Hari Katha. If Guru Maharaj says don't speak Hari Katha, don't speak Hari Katha. But the Siddhanta is apane acharya keha na kare prachar, achara prachar. Apane acharya keha na kare prachar, prachara kare na keha na kare achar. Achara prachara namer kara dui karya, tumi sarva guru, tumi jagatera arya. Srila Sanatana Goswami says this in the Antya Lila of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita to Srila Haridas Thakur. What does Srila Sanatana Goswami say? Apane acharya keha na kare prachar. Some people have good acharan, but they don't do preaching. They are lazy to preach. They don't care about others' welfare, so they don't preach. But they themselves are practicing everything. They are very nicely situated, but they don't preach to others. That is not good. Apane acharya keha na kare prachar. And some are like me. Prachara kare na keha na kare achar. They like to preach, they like to give classes, but they are not following themselves. But Srila Haridas Thakur is not like that. So both these categories are not good. One who is having good achar but not preaching at all. Then because of Vaishnava is paradukha dukhi, na? Paropakarartham idam shariram. Our existence is meant for paropakar. Janma sarthak kari, but the verse doesn't end there. Mahaprabhu says janma sarthak kari kar paropkar. So if you are not doing paropkar, then it is not a complete realization of Krishna. And some prachara kare na keha na kare achar. They do a lot of prachar, but they don't have good acharan. They don't practice what they are preaching. But Srila Haridas Thakur, Srila Sanatana Goswami is saying, Srila Haridas Thakur, you are such a wonderful, great devotee. In fact, you are the best devotee. And you are Jagat Guru. Why? Because achara prachara namer karadui karya. The acharan towards Harinam and the prachar of Harinam, both you have done very nicely. Achara prachara namer karadui karya, tumi sarva guru, tumi jagatera arya. Therefore, you are Jagat Guru and you are the best devotee. So the first class thing is to practice what we preach. Because unless we are practicing and we have tasted what we are speaking about, it will not have the desired effect on others. For example, if somebody asks me What is the taste of Ratnagiri mango? Now, only a person who has eaten the Ratnagiri hapus mango can describe it. Otherwise, one can theoretically say, yes, Ratnagiri hapus mango, it is the king of king of mangoes. It is very sweet. It is very juicy. It is very expensive. All these descriptions can be given, but this is all theoretical because the person has never seen also what is Ratnagiri hapus, let alone tasting it. So simply the person should say, I don't know. Ask somebody who has eaten Ratnagiri hapus, like that. Because if we speak unless we have tasted it, then it will not have effect on others. And Ajinkya Prabhu, one very big risk is we can become egoistic. We start giving instructive classes. Do like this, do like that, do like that. We are not following, but we are instructing others. Then what happens? Our aham becomes powerful. Our ego, false ego, becomes more and more nourished by such preaching. And then that is a sure shot recipe to fall down. Dinera adhikadaya kare Bhagavan. Pandita kulina dhani bada abhiman. So we have to be very careful. So basically, first thing is we should do what Guru Maharaj has told. If our spiritual master has instructed us to do certain service, we should do the way the spiritual master has told us to do. Srila Prabhupada has told us to preach, but Srila Prabhupada has also taught us to first practice it. Therefore, Bharat Bhumi to hele Manushya Janma jar Janma sarthak kari, and then kara parokar. So this Siddhanta we have to understand. And then if we have to give classes, either we should see if there is somebody more qualified, we should request them that Prabhu or Mataji, you give the class, you are more qualified. But still, if our superiors instruct us that we should give class, then we can give descriptive classes, not prescriptive classes. Prescription means what a doctor gives. You do this, you do like this. That is a prescription, instructive. We should not do that. We should do descriptive classes. Describe Krishna Leela, describe Krishna Gun, describe Krishna's greatness, describe the greatness of Srila Prabhupada, glorify Vaishnavas. To do this, you don't need any qualification. To glorify Vaishnavas, to glorify Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to describe the Leela, anybody can do that. That is Leela Kirtan, Guna Kirtan, Nam Kirtan, that we should do. But we should not give instructive classes. If devotees ask any question, we should not give instructions. We can quote what Srila Prabhupada has said in that regard, or what our Guru Varga, our Acharyas have said in that regard, that we can quote. How we hear Sri Shukdev Goswami is quoting. Maharaj Parikshit asking about creation. Shukdev Goswami says the same question my Param Gurudev, Shripad Narad Muni, had asked Lord Brahmaji. And let me narrate to you what answer Brahmaji gave, like that. So with that mood, we can speak Harikatha if that service has been given. But all the time we have to be very careful that we are not becoming egoistic. It's not that we start expecting ki, Arey yaar, ek hafta ho gaya, nobody has asked me to give class. What is the problem? It should not happen that when someone says, Prabhuji, can you give a class on this particular day? And we feel happy. Yeah, nice invitation has come to give speak Harikatha. Very good, very good. Let the invitations keep coming. If we should not happen like that. Krishna can use anybody as a speaker. Now this service has been given to me. So let me invest in my bhajan. Let me chant extra rounds. Let me chant sincerely so that I can share. This devotee that I was talking about in Vrindavan, he gives classes. He gives Bhagavatam classes in the temple. He sometimes does home programs in Vrindavan if some devotee invites, and gives classes also. And the classes are so filled with realization because he has got such good acharan, such sadachar, such good devotional spiritual practice. So such devotees should do most of the preaching. But if we are given an opportunity, then we should just repeat. And always keep examining the inner environment. Am I becoming proud? Am I developing this expectation that every time, every week or every other week or every month, I should be given an invitation to speak Harikatha? If I'm not given a chance, then I feel left out or I feel dissatisfied. That should never happen. And as far as possible, we should give descriptive classes, not instructive or prescriptive classes. Is that helpful, Ajinkya Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, very much helpful. Also, yeah, I whenever like asked, I try always to be in the mood that I'm giving class for myself so that I become a good devotee and not for like anybody else. So that mentality is okay to have, like so that I purify myself with by speaking Krishna Lila and by speaking from Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, yes. We become purified. We become more purified by pleasing the Vaishnavas, by pleasing Guru Maharaj. So we should speak the Hari Katha, yes, for one's purification, but that purification will happen only if Krishna is pleased. Krishna doesn't purify us based on any kriya. कि मैंने क्लास दिया, अभी मैं purify हो जाऊंगा. I read Bhagavad Gita, so I'll get purified. I read Srīmad Bhāgavatam, I gave a Bhāgavatam class, so I will become purified. Krishna doesn't reciprocate or purify us for some kriya, for some activity. I chanted 2 lakh. Now Krishna has to give me this. No, we cannot purchase Krishna by any kriya. Krishna gets purchased, Krishna gets controlled when he is pleased by our devotional service, when he is pleased by our attitude. We can chant only 16 rounds, but with humility, with the desire to please Krishna, with the desire to please Guru Maharaj. Then Krishna will be very pleased. On the other hand, there are some devotees in Radhakund who are on a campaign to prove to the whole ISKCON world that all of you are nonsense. Your japa is nonsense. You are not doing japa, you are doing kirtan by chanting loudly, taking 2 hours for chanting 16 rounds. That's not japa. And they will quote verses from Hari Bhakti Vilas and say you should chant 16 rounds in 1 hour. In 4 hours, you should do 64 rounds. They are on Facebook, they are cutting YouTube videos, they are on WhatsApp, and they are criticizing our Guru Varga. And they are doing it for years. And what happened? They fell down. These are ISKCON devotees. They are saying that everybody should chant 64 rounds in 4 hours. And they are showing YouTube videos how to do it. And showing quotations how we are all wrong, bogus. And they have flyers around Radhakund. Come, we will teach you how to chant 64 rounds. Now what happened? They all fell down. So somebody may be chanting 16 rounds. I know so many devotees, they chant only 16 rounds, but they're so sincere. They're so humble. And somebody chanting, these devotees are chanting 3 lakh in 12 hours in Radhakund every day. 12 ghante, 192 rounds every day in Radhakund, and fell down. Why? Because Dinera adhika daya kare Bhagavan. Krishna gives his mercy to those who are humble and meek, who are not proud. Amanina manadena. One can chant 2 lakh, 3 lakh, and by chanting that we are simply becoming proud and proud and proud and proud, and seeing faults in others, considering those who are chanting 16 rounds to be low class. I am very advanced. I am doing 1 lakh. I am doing 2 lakh. I am doing 3 lakh. Yes, we can do, but that is kriya, and Krishna cannot be purchased by kriya. I did so many Ashwamedh Yajna, so Krishna is mine. I did so many rounds, so Krishna is controlled. No. Aham bhakta paradhina. Krishna is controlled by bhakti, and the sign of bhakti is dainyata. Dainya atma nivedana, goptrite varana. It begins with dainyata. Sharanagati begins with dainyata. First limb of Sharanagati is karpanya, dainyata. Dainya atma nivedana, goptrite varana. Avashya rakshibe Krishna vishwasa parana. Like that. So, if we, whatever bhajan we are doing, whether it is 16 rounds, Hari Katha we are hearing, reading, giving classes, deity worship, counseling devotees, whatever may be our service, playing mridanga, leading kirtan, whatever may be our giving donations, if we are doing it humbly, without any expectation for any pratishtha or any material gain, we are doing it for the pleasure of the devotees, then Krishna will be pleased. And if Krishna is pleased, we will become purified. We don't become purified by giving classes, by reading, by chanting. No. No kriya can purify us. All these kriyas, different activities, spiritual activities will purify us to the degree Krishna is pleased. And Mahaprabhu has repeatedly said, repeatedly, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has repeatedly stressed Srila Prabhupada has stressed and our Guru Varga have stressed, our chanting will please Krishna only and only if we are following Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnuna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. That is the standard to chant. Humility, tolerance, not expecting any respect for oneself, and respecting others completely. That is the only way to chant properly, and that is the only way Krishna will be pleased by our chanting. You can write this down. Our chanting will never please Krishna, truly, unless we are following the third verse of Sri Chaitanya Shikshashtam. Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnam. Therefore, Mahaprabhu said, take this verse and tie it around your neck and chant Harinam. Never forgetting this verse. Krishna will be pleased by our Kriya only when we are humble, we are respectful, we are trying to serve. Then Krishna is pleased. And when Krishna is pleased, we make spiritual advancement, not by Kriya. Not by Kriya. So this one point we have to understand. Is that okay? Ajinkya Prabhu, I also feel very embarrassed, very inadequate in my heart, because so many devotees report their sadhana to me, and I do it as a service to them, because somehow Krishna is inspiring them to report sadhana, so it keeps them inspired in their bhajan. But when I look at these devotees, when I read their sadhana report, every day I feel that, every single day I feel that, Krishna, they are so much more advanced than me. I am doing such a cheating. I am such a cheater to receive sadhana reports from them. They are more humble. They are chanting more rounds. They are more sincere than me. And here I am sitting and collecting their sadhana reports, becoming more and more egoistic and proud. But these devotees are simple, humble, devoted, dedicated, wonderful. When I read all of your answer sheets, I really feel overwhelmed that what is the quality of Bhakti Vaibhava answers all of you have written. So nice, it can become a book. Such nice answers, such nice Siddhanta. Every question answer paper I am reading, and I'm learning. So nice you have written, all of you. So what to do? This is our life. Somehow this service is given, although not qualified, and those who are apparently taking a subordinate position, they are more advanced than me. So I can feel what you are saying. I also feel like that. So what to do? We have to just be humble and do our service with the sole intention to please the Vaishnavas, to assist them in their Krishna consciousness in whatever way we can. And by doing that, we hope that the Vaishnavas will shower their blessings upon us. And seeing their blessings, then Radha and Krishna also will look at us mercifully. Okay, Prabhuji? Sorry.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. That was very helpful.
Hare Krishna. Sharanagat Mataji and then Gokuleshwari Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. What a wonderful class and very practical thing you mentioned while answering Ajinkya Prabhu's question. I thought of like not asking this question, but like it's bothering me, and I know it is not the very right question, Prabhuji. But whenever I read this part of Bhagavatam, that like from false ego, like false ego is like I'm an enjoyer or I want to enjoy. So even that I want to enjoy from where it comes. So I was just thinking about it. Is it because we are part and parcel of the Krishna, and Krishna is an enjoyer? That's why we also, tend to think that I want to enjoy.
Actually, if we remember Krishna, then immediately the feeling of dasatva will come. The feeling of servitude will come to Krishna, because Krishna is so great. And compared to Krishna, we are so small, so insignificant. But the problem is that we forget Krishna. And by forgetting Krishna, by turning away from Krishna, this desire comes that I am the enjoyer and I want to enjoy. Not because the tendency is in Krishna and therefore the tendency is in us also. That is not the proper understanding. The proper understanding is, if we remember Krishna, then we will get a feeling of das. Das was Krishna, I am your servant. Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nityadas will come. But because we are forgetful of Krishna, we are forgetful of Krishna, then we get this desire that let me enjoy. I am the enjoyer. And this is mentioned in our Shastra. It is said, Krishna bhuliya sei jiv anadir bahirmukh ataiva maya tare deha samsar dukh. And Krishna bahirmukh jiv bhogavancha kare. Nikatastha maya tare jhapati adhare. This is the Siddhanta. That Krishna bahirmukh jiv, we turn away from Krishna, bhogavancha kare. Then we get the desire to enjoy. Because of forgetfulness of Krishna. If we are remembering Krishna, if we are in the association of Krishna, then we will want to serve. It's so wonderful. And Krishna is never alone. Krishna is always with his devotees who are serving him. Radha Krishna Seva Pao, Ei Abhilashi. This is going on in the spiritual world. So if we remember Krishna, if we remember Krishna's devotees, what are all the devotees doing? Serving Radha and Krishna. So if we remember Krishna, we remember Krishna's devotees, we will develop a desire to serve Radha and Krishna. But because we forget them, we get a desire that, okay, let me be served. Let me enjoy. Krishna bahirmukha jiv bhogavancha kare. Nikatastha maya tare jhapati adhare. Then Maya grabs us. So the root cause is not because Krishna has the tendency to enjoy and we are amsha of Krishna. So not like that. But because we're forgetting the amshi. The ansha is forgetting anshi. The fragment is forgetting the whole. And therefore the fragment thinks, I am the whole. I am the center of the world. Like that. So understand what?
Yeah, beautiful, Prabhuji. Because all the time we say that like qualitatively we are same. So just this.
So that is our false ego justifying the enjoying tendency.
So mine is false ego is next level, Prabhuji. So sorry about that, thinking that way. But thank you so much for clarifying, Prabhuji. I'll always keep it in mind. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. And last question, Gokuleshwari Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this beautiful class. Prabhuji, mera question ye hai ki how often should we report our daily sadhana to our Siksha Guru? I have asked this question from my Siksha Guru, but have not received the answer. So I thought I'd just ask you, Prabhuji, if you can please.
It depends on the Shiksha Guru, how much time they have. Some devotees report every day, and that is Uttam, that is best, if every day we submit. Or some of them tabulate it, they make it into a chart, and they submit every Ekadashi. And some even submit once a month. So all three are there. Uttam is to, if one really wants to make progress, then the best thing is if the Shiksha Guru has time, then we can send one sadhana nirikshan every day. So the Shiksha Guru can see. And there should be some important things on the sadhana chart. So that of course can be discussed with one's Shiksha Guru. But I think everyday sending is the best, if not every Ekadashi, if not every month. Okay, Mata?
प्रभु जी क्या होना चाहिए डेली साधना में जब हम रिपोर्ट करें आपके डेली राउंड्स आपकी रीडिंग व्हाट एल्स प्रभु जी?
जी तो एक तो संख्या आप लिख लीजिए. एक तो संख्या, दैट इज द क्वांटिटी ऑफ जपा. दूसरा है क्वालिटी ऑफ जपा, कि हमारा ध्यान लगा क्या जपा में, कि मन इधर उधर भाग रहा था. ओवरऑल अगर देखा जाए, ओवरऑल अगर रेटिंग दे तो ऐसा आई टेल टू गिव रेटिंग ऑन 0 to 5. 5 मीन्स एक्सीलेंट चैंटिंग, 1 मीन्स वेरी वेरी डिस्ट्रैक्टेड, पता ही नहीं चला कब 16 माला हो गए, completely distracted. And then in between that 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So on a scale of 0 to 5, 0 being the worst chanting or 1 being the worst chanting, 5 being the best chanting you have ever done, as you yourself rate your japa. So a quality, a quantity. Then स्वाध्याय कम से कम 20 मिनट तो होना चाहिए, 15-20 मिनट तो होना चाहिए स्वाध्याय, श्रील प्रभुपाद जी के जो ग्रंथ है उनका. देन श्रवण, हमारे जो गुरु महाराज है तो उनकी हरि कथा, इस्कॉन डिजायर पे कई सारे हरि कथाएं हैं. तो एक कोई प्रसंग उठा के अम्बरीश चरित्र, अजामिल की कथा, ऐसा गोपी गीत, ऐसा एक प्रसंग उठाकर उसे रोज उसका स्वाध्याय करना है और उसका श्रवण करना है। तो ये हो गया श्रवण, स्वाध्याय हो गया, श्रवण हो गया। फिर पूजा सेवा, हमारे घर में जो भी ठाकुर जी विराजमान है उनकी सेवा करनी है प्रतिदिन, तो वो भी होना चाहिए साधना चार्ट में कि किया कि नहीं की, सेवा की नहीं की ऐसे। और यदि ऐसा कोई समय है कि हम नहीं कर पाते हैं किसी कारणवश, तो मन से किए, कम से कम मन से करना चाहिए, या किसी से करा लेना चाहिए, घर में बच्चों से, अपने पति से, माता पिता से करवा लेनी चाहिए सेवा। और कोई वैष्णव सेवा की क्या कभी किसी की, कोई घर पे अतिथि है, कुछ ऐसा कुछ रहा तो वो उसमें लिखना चाहिए। और 4 नियमों का पालन किया क्या, ये बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण बात है। हम कभी कभी सोचते कि ये तो क्या बेसिक है, हम तो रोज ही करते हैं, लेकिन जब मैंने कई रसिक वैष्णव से कोई उपदेश पूछा है, जैसे हम जब वृंदावन गए थे अभी पिछले साल 2022 में और 2019 में भी, दोनों समय जब हम परम पूज्य श्रील राधा गोविंद दास गोस्वामी महाराज जी से मिले, तो हमने उनसे पूछा कि हमारे लिए कोई उपदेश, तो उन्होंने हमें दोनों वक्त वही कहा कि 16 माला कम से कम जप करो, उससे अधिक करो यदि हो सके तो, और जो 4 नियम है जो श्रील प्रभुपाद जी ने बताया है, और फिर अंग्रेजी में बोले गुरु महाराज, नो मीट ईटिंग, नो इंटॉक्सिकेशन इत्यादि जो है उसका पालन करो ऐसे। तो मैं ये बात समझ में आई मुझे कि ये बहुत जरूरी है कि रोज हमें विचार करना है, मैंने 4 नियमों का पालन तो किया ना आज, कहीं कोई चूक तो नहीं हुई ना, कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं कुछ खा लिया मैंने, उसमें कुछ मिक्स था, या कुछ ऐसा क्रिया की मैंने, या मन से भी मैंने 4 नियमों का पालन नहीं किया, कि मन में कभी कोई ऐसा चिंतन किया, गलत चिंतन किया, तो वो सब, कोई परस्त्री का चिंतन किया, ऐसा कुछ जो है ना, तो हमें खुद को एग्जामिन करना है, 4 नियम मैंने फॉलो किए कि नहीं किए। तो स्वाध्याय, श्रवण, पूजा सेवा, 4 नियम, और 2 चीजें मैं हमेशा, 3 चीजें इसमें ऐड करता हूं मैं हमेशा। एक, क्या कुछ नॉन कृष्ण प्रसाद पदार्थ का हमने पाया है क्या आज, तो वो नहीं करना चाहिए, रोज केवल कृष्ण प्रसाद। एक, दूसरा, क्या किसी वैष्णव की हमने गलती से भी निंदा की क्या, किसी वैष्णव के बारे में हमने ऐसा कुछ कह दिया क्या जिससे अन्य भक्तों के हृदय में उस वैष्णव के प्रति आदर सम्मान की भावना कम हो जाए, तो क्या हमने किसी में दोष दर्शन किया, किसी की दोष कीर्तन किया, निंदा की, वो एक। और तीसरा, क्या हमने फोन पे या टीवी पे या कंप्यूटर पे कुछ मटेरियल देखा क्या, कुछ मूवी, कोई मूवी का सॉन्ग, कोई कॉमेडी, कुछ न्यूज, कुछ ऐसा स्पोर्ट्स, कोई यूट्यूब पे वीडियो जिसका कोई संबंध नहीं है कृष्ण भक्ति से, क्या हमने ऐसा कुछ देखा जो जस्ट टाइम पास है, एंटरटेनमेंट है, या हमारे मनन चिंतन के लिए प्रतिकूल है, कृष्ण भजन के लिए प्रतिकूल है, क्या ऐसा कुछ हमने देख लिया। तो ये चीज है, कुछ मटेरियल देखा क्या, किसी की निंदा की क्या, कुछ नॉन कृष्ण प्रसाद पाए क्या, और वो बाकी चीजें, क्वालिटी ऑफ चैंटिंग, क्वांटिटी ऑफ चैंटिंग, 4 रेगुलेटिव प्रिंसिपल्स, स्वाध्याय, श्रवण, और कोई वैष्णव सेवा। तो इसको एक बार ऐसा लिख लिया कि देन वी जस्ट हैव टू टेक इट ऐसा।
तो प्रभु जी हम प्रीवियस डे का रिपोर्ट करेंगे, राइट, बिकॉज ऑफ द टाइम डिफरेंस। जी,
प्रीवियस डे का, या फिर रात को बस जस्ट सोने से पहले भेज सकते हैं।
जी प्रभु जी, थैंक यू सो मच प्रभु जी।
क्या होता है, फिर रात को जस्ट रेस्ट लेने से पहले, शयन करने से पहले एक ऐसा चिंतन होता है, आज का दिन कैसा गया, तो सोने से पहले साधना चार्ट को टिक 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 फिल करके फिर यू कैन चैंट हरे कृष्णा एंड टेक रेस्ट फॉर द डे। तो ऐसा टेक एवरी डे एज इट कम्स, कि आज कोई गलती ना होने पाए, आज कोई त्रुटि ना होने पाए, वो साधना चार्ट के अनुसार ठीक से सावधानी से पूरा दिन व्यतीत किया, फिर वो भेज दिया, फिर अगले दिन नया, ऐसा। हरे कृष्ण। अरे माता जी आपका आवाज नहीं आ रहा है, शायद इंटरनेट। ठीक है, ओके, सो आई थिंक माता जी सॉरी आपका आवाज कट गया है अभी, शायद आपका इंटरनेट ये नहीं है। तो विल स्टॉप हियर डियर डिवोटीज, थैंक यू वेरी मच। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, निताई गौर, हरि बोल। हरे
हरे कृष्णा।